Hello everyone, welcome to MES e-learning channel. In this video, we are going to write a program in C to shift each element of an array to left or right as per user's choice, which is also known as cyclic rotation of array elements. For example, if the given array is 10, 20, 30, 40 and 50, after rotating left, it should look like 20, 30, 40, 50, 10. And after rotating right, it should look 50, 10, 20, 30, 40. Okay? So, here we have to basically ask the user for the array, then we have to ask them for the choice that they want, left and right, and then we can ask them the number of rotations that they want to take on that particular array. So, let us start writing the code. So, the very first step that we have to do is we have to attach our header files. Here we will be attaching hash include stdio.h, which is the standard input output header file. Then if you are performing this experiment on Turbo C++, you will have to attach an extra header file which is hash include conio.h. After that, you will have to create functions. Yes. So, we will have to write the functions. So, we can declare our functions here before writing the main function. So, I am writing the functions which is void. We can give the name of the function here. Let us say it is left rotate by 1, okay, and then you will write the arguments that are required by this particular user defined function. So, here the function will require the array. So, we will write array, the data type of the array which is int followed by the name of the array, yes, and then comma, and the other parameter is int size, which will be the size of the array. Okay. So, let us just declare it here. We will write the definition afterwards. So, that is why I am putting a semicolon at the end. Then we will also have to write a user defined function to write rotate by 1. Again, for this it will require the array and the size. Okay, you can't simply write the size variable directly, you will have to mention the data type also. Okay. So, that is why we are writing the argument list and then a semicolon. Now, you will put a semicolon only when you are just declaring the function and not writing its definition. Okay. So, since I am not writing its definition right here, that is why I am terminating the function by putting a semicolon at the end, right. After that, I will start with my main function. So, I am writing int main empty parenthesis is circular brackets, right. So, int main, then we start by putting an open curly brace. Now, which all variables we will require in our code, that we will have to declare at the beginning. So, how do we write that? First, we write the data type which is integer. So, integer is written as int. Then you will have to ask for the choice, isn't it? Left or right. Then you can ask them for the rotations. How many rotations they want to take on that array. You will require an iterator I for your for loop, which we are declaring here, and then you will declare your array, right. So, whatever is the name of the array followed by a square bracket, and in the square bracket you will write how many elements are there in the array. So, here we are writing 10. So, this array can take up to 10 elements, not beyond that. Then you will put a semicolon. So, our declarations are done. Then you can write clear screen. Okay. So, what clear screen will do? It will clear your output console. Okay. All the previous outputs will be cleared. So, after this you will ask the user to enter the elements of the array. So, how you will do that? You will do that by writing a printf statement, right. So, we will write printf, and in that you will write enter elements of the elements of the array, correct. So, you will write it into double quotes, and you can write a /n at the end. What it will do? Next, whatever you write in printf will be taken on new line. So, /n is for new line, okay. So, this will be displayed on the output console, and now we are writing a for loop to take all the elements of the array. So, we will initialize our iterator I at 0, correct. So, this is how our array is going to be, right. It will have, let us say 5 elements as per the question. It will have 10, it will have 20, 30, 40 and 50. So, the indexing in array is from 0. So, 0th position has element 10, first position has element 20 and so on, correct. So, we have to take the elements of the array from the user. So, what they will enter? For example, they are entering 20, 20, 30, 40, 50. This is how they will be placed inside the array starting from the 0th position. So, I will take how many values? 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4. That is why we are starting I at 0. So, I has been initialized at 0. Then you put a semicolon. Then you put a condition. How many values I can take? I's value should be less than whatever is the size of the array, correct. So, what is the size of the array? That you will have to specify, right. So, let us say as per this the size is 5, so we can directly write that I should be less than 5, correct. So, how many values will I take? I will be 0 initially, right, and then at the end we will write I plus plus. So, tell me how many values I will take? I will be 1, then in the next iteration I will be incremented, it will become 2, then it will be incremented, it will become 2, then 3 and then 4, right. So, inside the for loop we will write scanf, yes. So, scanf will take the inputs from the user. So, since I is an integer, right. So, the iterator was declared here. What is the data type? Int. So, the format specifier for integer is D. So, we will write %D inside double quotes, then you will put a comma, then you will put ampersand and then the name of the array where these elements are to be stored, and inside the square bracket you will write I. So, whatever is the value of I. So, whatever is entered in the first iteration when I is 0 will be stored in the 0th position of your array. In the next iteration what happens? I ka value is incremented and 0 becomes 1. So, I will become 1 in the next iteration. Is 1 less than 5? Yes, the condition is true. So, this part, this statements written inside the for loop will be executed, till which point I will be incremented and it will go on incrementing, right. So, once it becomes 5, 5 is less than 5? No, it is false. Hence, this part will not be executed and then it will start executing the next statements. Okay. So, this particular part of the program is written to accept the elements of the array from the user. Okay. Next, what we have to do? Once we have the elements of the array, we have to ask the user for their choice if they want to rotate our array in the left direction or in the right direction. So, for that we will have to write a printf statement. Inside printf we will write enter your choice, right. So, we will have to tell them what is what, correct. So, we will tell them that 1, for left, comma 2 for right. Okay. So, if they enter 1 here, we will perform left rotation, and if they enter 2, we will do right rotation. Okay. So, see, I have written this inside brackets, and then this printf bracket needs to be closed as well, right. So, before that I will just put slash n for new line, then I will close my quotes that I started here, I will close my parenthesis and a semicolon. So, scan f for them to enter the choice, which is again choice will be entered, correct. So, choice is again declared here, and what is the data type of choice? Integer. So, the format specifier is D. So, that is why we will write %D inside double quotes followed by a comma, ampersand. Okay. Now, why we are writing ampersand? So, that we can get the memory address of your choice variable, and the choice entered by the user can be stored in that particular memory location. So, you write ampersand and choice. Why we are writing choice? Because choice is the variable name that we created while declaring the variables at the beginning. Okay. So, you write it, you close your parenthesis and then you put a semicolon. Also here I forgot to put a semicolon, you will put a semicolon. Okay. Here we have taken the choice. Next we can ask them for the number of rotations they want. So, that we can do by again writing a printf statement. Inside printf you will write enter number of rotations. Okay. So, you will ask them for how many rotations they want. After that you can write scan f, again %d because rotations is also of data type integer. So, %d in quotes, comma, ampersand and the variable name, which is rotations, yes, and then you will put semicolon at the end. Okay. So, now we have taken the choice, we have taken the number of rotations they want, and we have also taken the elements of the array. So, everything that we needed is with us now. Now, let us start the operation of doing the left or right rotation. Now, the user will either choose 1 or 2, correct. So, for that we will be using if else if ladder. Okay. So, we will use if first, we will write if choice is equal to 1, we have to perform left rotation, correct. So, you can simply write a comment here by putting 2 slashes and write left rotation, so that it is there in our mind. It is not compulsory. Comments are for users aid. If you want to write, write. If you do not want to write, it is okay if you do not write. Okay. So, if choice is equal to 1, you can observe I have used 2 equal tos because this is the equal to operator that we have. It will check that the user's choice that the user had enter, is it equal to 1? If yes, if true, okay, if it is true, in that case whatever is written inside of the curly braces after if will be executed, only if this condition is true. Okay. So, if choice is equal to 1, in that case we have written a for loop. Okay. So, in for loop what do we write? Again we are using the iterator I. Okay. So, we will start from 0, correct, because we have this array. I will write it down again for you. Okay. 10, 20, 30, 40 and 50. Okay. So, these are the 5 elements that we have starting from 0th position. Yes, do not forget the indexing. Total elements are 5. Okay. Elements are 5. Okay, as in this array can hold up to 5 elements. The size of the array is 5, but the indexing starts from 0. So, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, the locations, the of the arrays is like this. Keep that in mind. So, starting from 0, because we have our first element at 0th position, then how many rotations it will take? I should be less than whatever is the rotations they have entered, how many rotations they want that, and then we will increment our iterator I. Okay. Here we will be calling our function to perform left rotation. Okay. So, I am writing the name of the function that I wrote here at the beginning, which is this. This was for left rotation, yes. So, I am calling that function which is left rotate by 1. The spelling should be exactly same, otherwise it will not be able to call. So, main function will call this function, user defined function, which is left rotate by 1, and what arguments will it pass? It will pass the array and it will pass the size of the array while calling it, right. So, what is the name of the array that we created? The name of the array is ARR, yes, and what is the size of the array? The size of the array is 5, right. So, you will send 5, correct. Okay. So, if you do not want to do that, what you can do? You can create a variable for size, or you can take it from the user at the beginning, yes. So, what you can do? You can write here size is equal to 5, okay, and then you can, while passing, you can pass the size variable, okay. So, you will pass array and size, okay. So, while calling, at the end you will put a semicolon and you will close your this thing, if statement. Again, keep in mind, when you are writing for loop, there is only one statement, that is why I did not put curly brace, but if you have any confusion, you can start for loop with a curly brace. When your for loop is ending, you can end it with a curly brace. Let us say this is the starting curly brace for and closing curly brace for. This is the starting curly brace for if, and this is the closing curly brace for if, okay. So, this was for left rotation. Let us write for right rotation. So, let us say we will have to write else if, again we will put our choice. Let us say choice is what now in case of right rotation? It should be 2, right. Let us comment it as right rotation, okay. Then you will put a curly brace, you will write your for loop, I is equal to 0 again, because you will start from the 0th position, correct, and I should be less than the number of rotations that the user has asked, okay. Then you will put a semicolon and I plus plus, curly brace starting for, then you will call the function which is right rotate by 1 for right rotations, right. So, right rotate by 1, name of the array, size of the array, okay, then a semicolon, closing curly brace for loop, closing curly brace of else if statement. In else if ladder, you have to write else at the end, okay, which is the default case, okay. So, else cannot have any condition associated with it, as it is the default case. So, in else you can only print statements. Here we can write print f, we can say that the choice is invalid, right. So, choice can either be 1 or 2. If they have entered something else, we will tell them that it is an invalid choice. Let us put /n at the end for new line, then quotes and semicolon at the end, and then we will return 1 here because there is an error. So, it will come out of the main function, okay. So, here we have written our cases, then we will write, we will display our result. So, for that we will use a printf statement. We will write array after cyclic rotation is, again we can use the same for loop, I is equal to 0, I should be less than size, or you can directly write 5, or okay, and I plus plus. then open your for loop with open curly brace. What will you print? Here you will print the array elements after rotation, right. So, percentage %d because array elements are of integer data type, that is why percentage %d, and array of I, you will close it, closing brace for loop, and then you will write get ch at the end, yes, and return 0, and you will close this curly brace. This is for which one? This is for the main function that we started here, okay, this is ended. Now we have to write the function definitions, right. So, what exactly needs to be done when left rotate by 1 is called or right rotate by 1 is called? So, we need to write the function declaration again, which is void left rotate by 1, okay. Then you write the same thing, int the array, okay, empty, because you will get the array from the main function, right, and then the size from the main function will come here when the function is called. Then in the curly braces, what we are doing? We are creating a temporary variable, okay, which is assigned 0th element of the array, correct. So, what is the 0th element of the array? I will just write it here, 10, 20, 30, 40 and 50. 0th element kya hai? 0th element is 10. Where are we storing it? We are storing it into a new variable temporary, temp, okay, that we have created. So, 10 is now stored in temporary variable temp, okay. Now, we will require our iterator, right. So, let us declare it also here at the beginning. Let us say int I, because we will be writing a for loop. So, for I equal to 0, yes, I should be less than, it should be less than the size, yes, and minus 1, and then I plus plus. I will tell you why we have written this condition, just a minute. After that, if this particular condition is true, what has to be done? Ith element inside the array, what should it get? It should get whatever is in I plus 1 position, okay. Then you close it, and then finally array size minus 1, okay. The last element will get whatever is in the temporary variable enclosed. Now, what exactly is happening here? What did we do first? We have taken the 0th element, which is 10, inside the temporary variable. Then the for loop where I is starting from 0, I should be less than whatever is the size minus 1. So, what is the size of the array? The size of the array is 5. So, size minus 1 is what? 4. So, I should be less than 4 and I plus plus will happen. So, I will take what all values? I will take values 0, 1, 2 and 3. Okay. So, what will happen if this particular condition is true? ARR of I. What is I now? I is equal to 0 currently. So, ARR of 0 is equal to ARR of I plus 1. I is 0 plus 1, which is 1. So, what is there in the first position inside the array? What is there? This is the first position. It has 20. Now, 20 will come where? In ARR 0th position. So, what will it have? It will have the value 20, right. So, now here in the new array, okay. So, what is basically going to happen in this position? We will have 20, correct. And then what we will do again, the I will be incremented, right. After doing this part, I will become 1 when I is equal to, 1, what will be there here? Array of 1. Whatever is in first position should come in I, which is 1 plus 1. So whatever is in the second position, where should it go? It should go in the first position. So what is it? It is 30. So 30 will come where? In the first position, which is here, correct? So this will go on happening till which value? Till I is equal to 3. When I is equal to 3, ARR I plus 1, that is 3 plus 1, 4. Where will it come? It will come here, right? So we will have 40 and then finally we will have 50. We will have one empty space, right? Because we only wrote for I 0, 1, 2 and 3. So that has happened. Then finally, when I will become 4, this particular condition will become false. In that case, it will come out from the for loop and it will start executing this line. So what is this line? We are saying array size, which is what? 5 minus 1. Yani ki array, fourth position in the array, what is it assigned? It is assigned the temp value. What is the temp value? It is 10, correct? So left rotation is happening here, yes or no? Now what we wanted has happened. Left rotation has taken place. The elements have been shifted to the left 20, 30, 40, 50 and this element is coming here. Now similarly we have to write for right rotation. So we will write for right rotation void right rotate by 1 and then you will pass the array and you will pass the size here. Please observe we are not putting a semicolon at the end here, yes, because this particular declaration is followed by definition, right. So that is why no semicolon is required. So we will write the this thing definition starting with again int I for our for loop, right. Please compare and see. Now we will have to again place something inside the temporary variable. Now what has to be done? We have to right shift. So if suppose this is how my array looks, right shift means this will come here, this will come here, 30 will come here and 40 will come here. This 50 needs to be placed here if one rotation is happening, correct. So what will temporary variable have? Temporary variable will have the element size minus 1. What is the size? Size is 5. Size minus 1 is 4, right. So what is there in the fourth position? The fourth position has 50. So temp will have variable 50, correct. And rest of the elements need to be shifted towards the right. So for that we will be writing a for loop. So for I is equal to 0, I should be started with 0? No, right. So we will start from which position? You can write it with 0 also, but then the logic will change. So what are we starting I with? I's initial value is size minus 1. What is size minus 1? 4, which is the last element in the array, yes. And I should be greater than 0 and I minus minus we are doing, right. So what is going to happen here in this for loop? What we are doing? The element in the array at ith position, what is it getting? It is getting the value I minus 1, okay, and then finally after that 0th position is getting the value temp, correct. So let me quickly explain what is happening here. What did we do? We shifted size minus 1 inside temp, so temp is having 50. Then we are starting I with size minus 1. So which is what? Which is 4, correct. So we will start with size minus 1, which is 4, correct. Then this will go on till which value? I should be greater than 0. So 4, then 3, then 2 and 1, yes. So it will take 4 values, yes. For 0, this condition will stand false, correct. So why are these values decrementing? Because we have written I minus minus. So what is going to happen for the first iteration when I is 4, fourth element, okay. What will it get? It will get the value of I minus 1. I is what? 4. So 4 minus 1. What is it? It is 3. So what is in the third position in the array? In the third position, we have, I will just write it somewhere, just a minute, just clear this. Okay, so this is how my array is looking when nothing has been done, 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4. So, whatever is in the third position, which is 40, where are we placing it? We are placing it in the fourth position, in the right position. That is what we want to do. We have to perform right operation, right rotation here. So, this is what is going to happen. In the next iteration, I will become 3. So, whatever is in the second position now, which is 30, needs to be shifted here and placed here. This will go on happening for all the values of what I. So, array of 2, 1, and then finally, what will 0 get? 0 will get the value of temp. What does temp have? It has 50. So, finally, how will your array look? You will have 50 here at the 0th position. In the first position, you will have 10. Then the second position you will have 20, 30 and 40. So, this is how right operation is happening, left and so now we are going to understand how the code will run in Turbo C++ compiler. So, here I have written the code, okay, and to save the code we can press F2 on our keyboard. After that we can press Alt and F9 to compile our code to see if there are any errors in our code. Then we can press any key. So, I am pressing enter, and then we can run our code by pressing Control and F9. So, Control plus F9. So, now this is the output console where we have to see the output. So, now it is saying enter the size of the array. So, let us say the array's size is 5. So, I am typing 5 and then click enter. Now, we have to enter elements of the array. So, I am entering the elements as 10, 20, 30, 40 and 50. I am pressing enter now. After that it shows enter your choice, 1 for left rotation, 2 for right rotation. If you want to do left, you can press 1, and if you want right rotation, you can press 2. I am entering 1. After that it is asking for number of rotations. Now, if you want 1 rotation, you can press 1, if you want 2, you can press 2 and so on. I am pressing 2 so that it will give me 2 rotations, 2 left rotations. So, after 2 left rotations, 30 will come at 0 index, 40 will come on first index, 50 will come on the second index, and then 10 and 20 will come on the third and fourth index, right. So, let us see the output by pressing enter. Yes. So, our code is performing absolutely fine. So, this is the output of our code. If you have any doubt, please ask them in the comment section below. Thank you for watching.